Good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us for this PFT member webinar. I'm George Jackson. I'm the Communications Director for the PFT. And in just a moment, PFT President Jerry Jordan will be on to talk about the union's plans to get your proposals as we prepare to negotiate a new PFT contract. I just have a couple of quick housekeeping items. If you have a question, use the chat feature, and you can find that at the bottom of your screen. If you scroll down to the bottom of your screen to the meeting controls, there should be a chat feature, and you can put your questions into the chat. PFT Staff Representative Hillary Leonardopoulos is on with me, and she'll be taking questions and forwarding them to me, and I will give them to PFT President Jerry Jordan to answer. We may not be able to get to every question, but we'll do our best to answer all of your concerns. Also, in the interest of time, please try to limit your questions to the topic of our process for getting proposals and not submitting your proposals via the chat feature. So we're not doing the actual proposals tonight. Tonight, we're talking about the process and our plans for Contract 2020 and how we'll get you involved. And so I'll remind you of all of this again, but right now I would like to bring on PFT President Jerry Jordan. Jerry?
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for taking the time from your evening to join us on this webinar. I know you've all put in a hard, long day and are trying to prepare for an early morning. So let's jump right into why we're here. We're at the beginning of a process that encourages Philly's educators to play an active role in shaping the provisions of our next contract. PFT's current contract with the district expires on August 31st, 2020. But our goal as a union is to submit proposals to the district and the school board in November. That's why the PFT is reaching out to all of you to get your proposals for our next collective bargaining agreement. We're at the beginning of a process that will include your proposals when we make our contract proposals to the district this fall. Many of you have already taken our online survey asking you to name your priorities for the new PFT contract. And thank you so much for participating in that survey. The survey will be open until September 30th. If you're ready to share specific proposals now, you can do so by using our online submission form. The address is posted on the slide, and we will share it with members shortly. Beginning in October, the PFT will be conducting a series of 6 regional membership meetings at schools around the city to hear your contract proposals, answer your questions, and take members' feedback about negotiations. Let me give you the schedule for these special membership meetings. The first will be Tuesday, October 1st, and it will be held at the Philadelphia Military Academy. Wednesday, October 2nd, we will meet at the School of the Future. Thursday, October 10th, we'll meet at the Girard Academic Music Plus program. Monday, October 14th, we'll meet at Harding Middle School. Tuesday, October 15th, we'll be at the Northeast High School. And Wednesday, October 16th, we'll meet at Girls High School. At these meetings, we will be asking you for 2 things. We'll be asking for your proposal and also for the rationale for your proposal. The rationale is needed because it is what the district will want to know when we submit these proposals, and we will need to be able to use your rationale in order to push for the district to agree to your proposal. There will be a PFT staff person at each of these meetings who will take down or collect your proposals. Please note that you may attend any one of these meetings. Simply choose the location that is most convenient for you. This information, along with special admit cards, will be mailed to members immediately following tonight's webinar. As you can see, there are a number of opportunities for any educator who wishes to submit a proposal to get involved with our negotiations. As you know, we will be encouraging our members to wear red every Friday in solidarity as we mobilize and organize around a new contract. These Solidarity Fridays are more about more than how good we look wearing red. It's about sending a message of unity to the district administrators, parents, and students. We encourage members to share photos of their colleagues with the PFT. You can email them to gjackson@pft.org. Those of you who have been in the union for the past few contracts will notice a much higher level of member engagement activities in this negotiation process. And you may be wondering why we haven't done this before. The truth is, this is actually not a new approach for the PFT. However, this is the first time since the year 2000 that we are not negotiating a contract under Act 46. Act 46, the state takeover law, was implemented in Philadelphia in 2001. This law ended local control of our schools and placed the district under the control of the School Reform Commission, the SRC. The law also stipulated that the PFT could only bargain over compensation and benefits. The district was under no legal obligation to negotiate class size, prep time, or other working conditions. Because of this, we have always needed to be very careful and strategic at the bargaining table with how we approach these issues in order for us to maintain the provisions that our unions worked and fought for decades to win. But now that our schools are under local control, we will be bargaining for a contract under different laws. We are now free to bring any and all teaching and learning conditions to the table, and the district must negotiate these terms. That is why the time is now to hear from you, Philly's teachers and support staff, about your priorities and what you want to see in our next contract. Contract negotiations are always very difficult. Though we are no longer negotiating under the rules of Act 46, we do not expect 2020 to be the exception. As PFT members, we must hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. We can expect the school board and the district to try to exploit any division within our union. That is why I want to encourage all of you to take part in the upcoming union activities related to our contract. Don't listen to rumors. Be sure to get your information directly from PFT emails, from pft.org, from the PFT Facebook page, from your PFT building representatives, and from your PFT staff representatives. You can assume that information gained from any other source is not accurate. The only one thing that can beat us is us. That is why, starting now, we must remain united. This school year, we need you to stay informed, updated, and engaged in these negotiations. And above all, stay unified. Now I'll turn things back over to George so that we can address some of your questions.
Thanks a lot, Jerry. Just want to remind everybody before we go into questions that questions should be directly related to the contract negotiations and engagement efforts for tonight. Specific questions regarding grievances, other school-based issues should report it as you usually do to the PFT outside of this call. And Jerry, I'm going to jump right in with the first question, which is from Charlie. He's asking what time the regional meetings will begin and about how long will they last?
They're going to begin at 4 o'clock each day, and they will last as long as the members have proposals and their rationale.
Okay. I got a follow-up from Charlie McGeehan. He's asking, why did the limitations on negotiating under Act 46 limit the amount of member input the PFT could take?
Because it was written in the law that we could only negotiate over compensation and benefits, and therefore to ask members to spend their time writing proposals and submitting proposals when the district's response was the law, Act 46, and they love to repeat that Section 696 says we don't have to negotiate over those things. So therefore, we certainly let members know that, and members knew that we were under Act 46 and that, we did not want to give the members the impression that we would be able to negotiate over something that the law clearly said that we could not negotiate over. And we have to also keep in mind that the reason why Act 46 was written, it was written to destroy this union. It was built to bust this union, and they did all kinds of things in order to, in Harrisburg particularly, to really make it difficult for this union to survive. And because of our solidarity, we were able to fight and to negotiate contracts and to maintain the language that we had in the contract. And we ultimately ended up fighting all the way to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court when the SRC voted to cancel our contract and to impose benefits that we had the right legally under Act 46 to negotiate, and they wanted to impose them. And, they offered a much, much lesser plan, and with an out-of-pocket expense of almost $800 a month for members who have family benefits. So it was all designed by Harrisburg to literally limit us to those two areas of being able to negotiate and having to really accept whatever it is that Harrisburg wanted to give us.
Thanks, Jerry. There's a question from Rachel who wants to know what will be the top priorities for PFT heading into negotiations.
The top priorities are going to be what the members submit as proposals. We can't tonight talk about what the priorities are going to be because we don't have the proposals yet.
Okay. So here's one question from Benjamin Hover. He said, what kind of work do we plan to do with politicians around the contract?
We are going to have to really reach out with all of our elected officials in city government and in state government, because clearly those are our funding sources. But more importantly, we need for them to understand why it is that our members are asking for the kinds of things that they will be asking for in the proposals in order to make our school system a better system for all students, and to give the children the kinds of schools that they deserve. And by the way, the employees are certainly entitled to having good working conditions as well as good salary and benefits.
All right. Here's a question from Lavella Montgomery. Do we think it's possible to negotiate higher pay for paraprofessionals?
It is certainly something that we will be asking for all of our members, absolutely paras included.
All right. Here's a question from Paul, who's asking, can you say more, can we talk a little bit more about what our process or what our thinking is for keeping members involved and informed should negotiations drag on like they did with the last contract?
Well, hopefully negotiations won't drag on beyond August 31st of 2020, because now that we are no longer under Act 46, we will not have to, as a membership, accept the school district dragging out negotiations beyond that date. We hope to go back to the way that our union operated for years and negotiated that by midnight, August 31st, that a contract was negotiated, and if it was not negotiated, there was a membership meeting to let the members know what was happening, and the members would have to vote to decide what the next steps would be. We hope that we don't get there, but we will be doing everything we can to negotiate a contract by the deadline of August 31st. But it will not be surprising for us to go down to the wire, which is what the district has done for ages, even before Act 46. But because we have a legal date of August 31st at midnight when the contract expires, there's a goal that the district is now forced to have to meet, or we as a union will have options.
All right. There's a question from Nicole Minette, and pardon me if I'm pronouncing your last name incorrectly. She asks, can you explain what you mean by submit proposals? For example, if we want something new in the contract, then we submit a proposal? Are there templates? Are there guidelines?
Nicole, you have it right. We would like for you to write what it is that you believe we should be requesting from the school district. And if you write it, we will certainly submit it. We may need to do some editing, but we want to make sure that we capture what your proposal is, and we will then need to look at where we want to place it in the contract if you haven't indicated that in your proposal. But what we will do is we will go through every one of the proposals, and we will prepare a booklet of PFT proposals that will be given to the school district, and those proposals will represent what it is that you submit to us.
Excellent. And Jerry, I just want to follow up by saying that, again, we're going to be sharing the online form, which will kind of have the proposal template laid out for you in terms of what your proposal is, the rationale for your proposal, and you'll be able to fill that online very, very shortly. Also, just to remind folks about the meetings that are coming up where you can actually come in and give your proposals to us in person if that's your preference. And let me just pull up the meeting dates here on the screen. You should see them. So you can attend any one of these meetings and present your proposal there. But more details are coming in terms of how to submit proposals. Here's a question from Adam Tabor. Will there be an opportunity for members to participate in the actual negotiations as many other unions, such as UTLA in Los Angeles and PA SNAP here in Philly, do with open negotiations?
We will be doing a variety of things and using a variety of strategies in order to negotiate this contract. And everything is on the table right now. Everything, and because of the way that we are going to be able to negotiate, so that we certainly will have members who will be participating in a variety of ways in negotiating this contract. We have talked to our colleagues in Los Angeles and in Chicago and in other places, Minnesota, who use that strategy, and they have talked about how effective it was for them. And so certainly that is something that we will be looking at.
All right, thank you. So we got a few questions about like really specific things, Jerry, I'll take a stab at just kind of addressing it, but it's also a good way to remind folks that what we're looking for tonight is questions about the negotiations process and how members can get involved. There are questions like, for example, there's somebody here asking, when will paraprofessionals be able to have a salary increase if they obtain accreditations, a bachelor's or a master's degree? There's another one here from Michelle who's asking about a plan to reinstate kindergarten interview time. And I think, Jerry, am I right in saying that those are the kind of proposals that once we release the proposal templates and release the process to members, those are the kinds of things we want to hear directly from members, correct?
Yes, that is correct. And those are, excuse me, very good, proposals that we need to take to the administration. Absolutely.
And here's a general question about step increases from Peter Matranga. Are step increases guaranteed in a contract, or are they negotiated each time?
Everything is negotiated each time. And it's not only step increases, it's our benefits, it's our personal leave days, it's our sick bank. Everything is on the table when a contract is open for negotiations.
And I think I know the answer to this, but Dave Malone is asking that as a special education teacher, he's wondering if the paperwork issue is something that we can submit a proposal for. And I think you just answered it. Everything is on the table for proposals, right?
And absolutely, there is an enormous amount of paperwork, and we are, dealing with the administration currently on streamlining the amount of paperwork that educators have to deal with. But yes, that is something that is certainly a good proposal, and we will certainly talk about it if we are not able to get it streamlined enough this school year. Absolutely.
All right. I'm looking at, again, I'm getting a lot of questions here about very specific proposals. And again, these are things that we want to hear from you about, but Jerry, just for the purposes of conversation, I want to quickly run through some of them. Sam Reed asks, can we make sure to negotiate for transit benefits for PFT members who use public transit?
Yes.
Yeah, and is it possible for related service providers, speech, PT, OT, psychology, to get more specific language in the contract that supports some of our niche needs and issues?
Yes, please submit the proposals for us.
Yep. These are exactly, folks, the kind of things that we're going to be asking you for in the coming several weeks. There's another question here from Gloria Cicerello. What can we do to cap class sizes to 30 in middle and high schools? That's another question and another thing that we want to hear from members about. So all of these kind of specific
class size is always an important issue. Yes, we will certainly bring forth that kind of a proposal to the administration.
Yep. Here's a question about the process, Jerry. In your answer to an earlier question, you said a booklet of proposals would be presented to the district. Will you be sharing this booklet with PFT members as well?
Absolutely. We will share all of the proposals that we submit, and when we get the district's proposals, we will share their proposals with the members as well.
Great. John Coates says that he's been through many of these negotiations and knows the importance of solidarity. He wants you to talk for a minute about the best things for building reps to do during contract negotiations. And also, as a student dean, he says he sees significant need for support services in schools. Are there ways to get language for the increases in these services?
Yes, there is a way, and I think we have to, give proposals to the district, telling them what it is that we need when it comes to those support services, and fight for them. When it comes to being a building rep during negotiations, it's so important for the building rep to be well informed, and to attend your meetings, your monthly meetings with your PFT staffer, and to make sure that you are aware of what's going on. Your staffers will share information, and it's important for you to be able to share it with the members of your building. It is important to get members as involved in every activity that we have. It's important to organize your building so that they understand that this is very serious work, and that we all have to be united. We have to have solidarity, which is why we're beginning by asking for everyone to wear red on Fridays to show solidarity to the administration, that we are working as a union and we have a goal in mind, and that goal is to get a good contract. So being able to give information to members, to be able to talk to members who have never gone through negotiations, and to express the importance of them maintaining a really strong stance with the union, and despite the kinds of rumors that they may hear, that they need to ignore them and not buy into rumors, because that is very harmful and is something that will only divide the union. That members need to be mindful of the kind of information that they share with the administration, and that members should not say things like, "Oh, well, I would be happy if we did that. It wouldn't bother me if I didn't have to give up my prep. I would like to keep my class all day, and I don't want to lose my prep, and therefore I would give back being paid back for prep time." Things like that are not helpful, and that it certainly is something that members should know, that the principals take back the information that they hear from their teachers and other employees in schools. And during negotiations, they're told to keep their ears open to find out what it is that our members are saying and doing. And it is just really, really dangerous for us when that kind of thing happens. So the building rep, you're the leader in that building, that you've been elected by the members in your building, and they need you to be the one with that information in order to help them understand and to go through the fight that we're going to be going through.
All right, thanks. Veronica Clymer asks, when you say shortly, when would the templates be available and in what form would they be in? And Jerry, I can already say we do plan on getting the online form, which kind of provides a template. We will be sharing that with members within the next day or so. Now that I've said it, I've boxed myself in, so we got to do it. We will get the online version of the form out shortly, and there will also be a letter going to every member talking about the process, and talking about a little bit about the options for submitting proposals and the kind of things we're looking for in your proposals and how to structure it. Got another question here. Jerry is just asking where we can purchase the PFT shirts to wear on Fridays. I don't know if you have any insight to that. I know we are working on getting our online store back up. We're working to do that as soon as possible.
And we should have information on that finalized within the next week or so.
Yep, so there will be the t-shirts, and the gear is coming back. Here's a question from Troy Jackson. Would it be more beneficial for individual schools to submit their proposal concerns? I guess it meaning as a group. Many of us would like to say something over the learning materials used in school and those that are approved by the Curriculum and Instruction Office. And he also asked, furthermore, can we bring back positions that in 440 that are affiliated with PFT? So I guess his question would does it make more sense for a school to kind of get together and put together a school proposal?
That's fine. If a school wants to get together and do that, it's a proposal, and we will certainly accept it. And when it comes to bringing back certain positions at 440, I will just need for you to be very specific about the positions that you're talking about, so that we will be able to argue your point as to why those positions are needed to be restored, and just include also the rationale.
Exactly. So again, we're looking for, what your proposal is and kind of what category your proposal falls under, and the rationale for your proposal, because again, as Jerry said, that's something we have to explain to the district at the table. Jerry, Kathy Provenzano says, I love having input. Any thought to creating committees by issue, i.e. special education, class size, etc., for members to have kind of an open dialogue and create some consensus on specific issues?
We are going to have, in this process, and there are going to be a number of committee meetings that we will be having in the union, that we will have individuals who are working in the same area, i.e. special ed teachers, speech teachers, OTPTs, and others, food service managers, coming together to talk about the proposals that affect their work, and to also make recommendations and offer proposals for us to take forward.
All right. A quick bit of housekeeping as we move on through the questions. Please try not to send multiple questions at once. We're kind of, like reading through these and trying to get them up to Jerry as soon as possible. But when you kind of back to back your questions, it kind of gets things backed up. And also, again, try to keep your proposal suggestions for right now. We're not really here to address that. We're more addressing kind of our plan for negotiations moving forward. And on that note, Jerry, I have a question from Emma Palermo, who asks, do you feel good about upcoming negotiations? And has there been any communication between PFT and the district concerning the upcoming contract?
I feel good about it, but this is only the beginning, and we haven't really begun. This is the beginning of the process internally for us to, gather our members' proposals. The district knows, just as I've shared with the members this evening, that August 31st, the contract is up, and I have no doubt in my mind that they probably are working on their proposals as well.
All right.
But we will not begin having discussions until after our proposals are together, and I submit our proposals with a letter requesting to open negotiations.
Excellent. Steve Fleming is asking, if he'll be able to access this webinar a little bit later on, and the answer to that is yes. He asked how soon. I think we should have a recording available tomorrow. And again, we'll be sharing that as we share all of this contract information with you guys, with the online forms and the surveys and all the stuff we've been sharing. We'll share it with you in the next day or so. Tasmara Davis asks, is anything off limits for contract proposals, Jerry?
That's a really broad question. So that, I would essentially say no if it has to do with, our working conditions.
All right. Tom Goldsmith asks, is a strike a possibility if needed?
That's, at this point, we can't begin to say anything other than that. Fortunately, we're no longer under the state takeover law, and we can legally strike. But I want to also make it very clear that our goal is to get a contract. And if indeed we can't get a contract and we've gotten to that point of not being able to reach an agreement by August 31st, there will be a general membership meeting, probably at the Leocora Center, and all members will be asked to come to a meeting, and you will know at that point that the meeting is called, that it will be for a vote by the members to determine whether or not this union would go out on strike. And we would have to do it under the terms of the current law.
All right. Another question from Peter Matrenga. How many years do you anticipate the new contract will be active? Or, what do you think the term of the new one will be? Are we going to do another 2-year, 3-year?
It's hard to call that. I mean, we can hope that we have a contract for X number of years, but you have to look at the funding streams and whether or not you're going to be able to fund it for the length of the contract. And so until we're really into negotiations and looking at costing out the contract, it's very, very difficult. I mean, this union, we've had 1, 2, 3, and 4-year contracts.
Okay. And so I got a couple other kind of specific comments here, including this one from Sophia Vega, who says, please don't forget about consultant teachers. We want term extensions or eliminate the 4-year term. So just a little comment there.
Please submit the proposal.
Absolutely. Everybody who, if you find yourself typing in the chat thing, and for those of you who came in late, if you have a question, please use the chat feature and we will get your question in front of Jerry. We're going to get to as many as possible, but try to keep it away from your specific proposal ideas. We are going to be collecting them over the next several weeks, and tonight we really just kind of wanted to talk about the process. But we see your proposals, we see your ideas, and we say put them in your proposals, and we'll be sharing how to do that over the next day and moving forward. But here's a question from Chris Palermo about prep time. Is it guaranteed? Is prep guaranteed, and does the district have to give it to us?
Prep time is negotiated, and once it's negotiated, it is guaranteed for the length of that contract. And we've had prep time for a number of years. This union went on strike for 12 weeks for elementary school prep time back in the early 70s. And we've maintained it for everyone. High schools had it prior to that time. And this union, I'm told, went on strike in the winter of the of 72 and 73 for elementary prep time. That it was a 12-week strike, and it was a really hard-fought victory for this union.
All right. Here's a question from Mark Christian, who it's a comment actually. He says he appreciates the information on the web, looking forward to giving proposals to our building representatives, and we are looking forward to reading them. Thank you, Mark. Question from Rachel Oak. Is it possible that we could get stuck in a limbo of working under the current contract if an agreement isn't made by 8/31/2020? I think she's talking about the contract extension that we were kind of under for a long time during the last negotiations.
That would have to be negotiated and would have to be agreed upon and voted upon by the membership.
All right. How will PFT members, this is from Wendy Howell, Jerry, how will PFT members who work at 440 get the information about the negotiations? And I can take a quick stab at that, and Jerry, feel free to add anything I forget. We will be emailing and mailing this information to every single PFT member. So not only will you have a chance to get it via email and on the web. You will also have information mailed to your home about the different online forums we have and the upcoming meetings, which are on the screen now through the month of October. So you will receive that information. If you're not getting the PFT emails, you can sign up to do so if you go to the Contact Us page at pft.org.
And also, for those of you who are working at 440, you can stop by our PFT office and stop and ask your questions of PFT General Vice President Arlene Kempen. She's there to help you.
All right. So I want to say that like we're trying to keep specific issues like this, or we're trying to have people call the PFT. But I do want to recognize there's a question from Melissa Kaur asking about the different requirements for different networks. She says Network 7 seems to have more mandates and extra work than other networks. I believe that's a question that you should probably call the PFT and speak to an information officer for Melissa, but thanks for being on the call. It was... Will we be able to read a proposed contract or a tentative agreement prior to the day of the vote? And that question is from Kate Reber, I believe is how her last name is spelled. And what say you, Jerry? Will we be able to get members a proposed a TA?
Certainly, you're certainly really ahead of me, and I look forward to getting to the day when we do have a tentative agreement that we can share with the members, and we'll be very happy to do that. Again, the goal is to be able to share that information with the members before we have a membership meeting. However, and we'll talk about this more as we go through the process, but if a agreement is reached, let's say the night of August 31st, and we have to be at work on the 1st, and we need to ratify a contract, there is where it gets a little hairy, but we'll do everything that we can, just as we shared the information about the current contract with the membership before voting on it. That is the goal, to be able to do that.
Right, and just to remind folks what happened last time, you know, we did kind of give members several days to read the last contract before. We did a webinar, we did a bunch of stuff around there to prepare members for the contract. So we will make every effort to make sure that you get a chance to look over the TA before we make a vote. Question from Abram Tabor, who asks, what kinds of coalition building will we be doing beyond just our political allies? And how can our members assist in that work?
We're going to need to do coalition building with all of our stakeholders, particularly our parents, and with members, our people in our faith organizations, with people who belong to various clubs and other organizations that our members participate in. It's not an effort that will be done or should be done solely by the union leadership, but it's something that we need every member to participate in and to do. You know, you're the people who are educating the children, for those of you who are working in schools, and it's important for you to have the conversations with the parents about their children and what it is that we need to have in our schools for kids. You know, when building partnerships with the parents, it makes a big difference in the outcomes of negotiations, because parents do have voice and should have voice. And, you know, with people who belong to religious places of faith, to be able to talk about what's happening relative to negotiations with your friends and fellow parishioners, to talk to your neighbors, to talk to the people who are part of a club or organization that you belong to. I mean, we've got to be able to reach out as far as we can in the community, so that the public understands what it is that we will be fighting for. Because when they find what we're fighting for is for their children and for better educational opportunities for the children, that they will join us. So it's something that each of us will have to make a commitment to do in our own personal way with various people that we come in contact with, in order for them to really join us in this fight for a good contract.
All right, and we've got a couple questions. Again, I think that is, the kind of things, again, that I want to remind people we want to hear in your proposals, but just to kind of move through them very quickly, Jerry. James McCourt asks, what are the chances that we'll be compensated for Act 48 credits? I got another question here from Paul Dominguez, who is asking about the 11-year 27 pay phenomenon, and can we propose the district stop using, whatever calendar technique they're using to do payroll. Jennifer McKay is asking, I hope there's some plans to take a look at early childhood contract terms. And again, I think all of these are the kind of things that people should put in their proposals, correct, Jerry?
Well, yes, and we certainly, this is the opportunity for everyone to be able to have their voice heard and to submit the issues by way of the proposal and the rationale, so that we will be able to take that information to the table and fight for what that proposal is. All
right. And let me see, a question from Talisi L. Forgive me if I mispronounced your name. She wants us to clarify, the contract negotiation proposals being given to building reps to be submitted to PFT or only via the templates? And so, Jerry, I can answer part of that. No, you can use the online form that we're going to share. You do not have to go through your building rep in order to do that, unless, unless your building has a system worked out where that's how you all agree to do it. Is that right, Jerry?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can use that, and you can also bring your individual proposals to any one of the regional member meetings that we're having throughout the city in the month of October, and those meetings are on the screen. Question from Cyrita McDonald.
And before you go on, George, and at those meetings, again, if you want to just state your proposal, and don't worry or be frightened by, oh, I'm afraid that I'm not going to quite say it the right way. If you just express what it is that you want for a proposal, as I said earlier, that there will be staff present who will be taking down the information, and so it will be going into a computer, and we will work on the wording in order to capture what it is that you want to say and what you want your proposal to be. So don't, not come to the meeting because you say, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to write this the way that it should, you think it should go into the contract. We'll work with you. Just come share it with us, and we will help you with it.
All right, thanks. We are running a little bit short on time, but and we've got many questions, so we are not unfortunately going to be able to get to them all, but we are working to get to as many as we can. That's why I'm kind of reading 2 and 3 comments back to back in some cases. I urge you to talk to your district staff reps. Call the PFT at 215-587-6738, and you can ask to speak to an information officer to get some of your specific questions answered about our current contract. One of the, let me see, here's a question here. How will we ensure that proposals that benefits smaller employee groups such as related service providers and paraprofessionals are not ignored or traded off during negotiations for items that benefit the majority employee group? And that question is from Amy Freed.
All proposals will be discussed at the negotiations table. All.
All right. Kelly asks, is there a way we can vote electronically or at multiple sites across the city, like they did in Baltimore, LA, et cetera, so that more folks can vote on a contract?
We haven't researched that system, and certainly everyone has more than an opportunity to vote. To vote, and we once again we share the information about the contract, and we give people the opportunity to come to a meeting to discuss the contract and to ultimately vote there. And we have the American Arbitration Association present, and there are ballots that every member is able to mark in order to vote. So, we certainly can look at other options, but currently that's the American Arbitration Association is the impartial organization that this organization uses, and they have conducted elections for us and votes for contracts for as long as I can recall, and they do a good job.
All right. Real quick, I'm just going to run through a couple of questions here. Oh, Galaxy S8 is apparently somebody's name. Hello, you have on here the places and dates where these meetings will be held, but I don't see a time. And Jerry, you said those meetings will start at 4 p.m., correct?
They'll be at 4 o'clock, and in a mailing that you're going to receive, you will get all of this information about these meetings in the mail, so that you will be able to decide which location you want to attend.
All right. And will we have materials to share with the community? That's a question from Abram Tabor. We
will ultimately develop various materials for different groups in the community, sure. Yep. We don't have it ready now, but it's one of the things that we will be doing during the process.
Yep. Paul Prescott asked, will there be flyers about the upcoming meetings? And as you just mentioned, we will be mailing something to people's homes in addition to sending emails out. And yeah, we will provide some building flyers to put on the PFT bulletin boards in your schools. Larissa Palmov asks, if a new contract is not approved, are we required to vote on extending the current contract? And is this different than the situation with the last contract, where it continued for years and was broken by the district in many different ways during that time?
Well, under the School Reform Commission, they were able to drag out negotiations for as long as they wanted to, but under the terms of negotiating now, we do have a deadline that is drawn in the sand, August 31st, 2020, and members are going to be able to vote on a contract, or they're going to vote for a contract, or if we don't have a contract and there's a need for an extension, that would be discussed and members would have to vote on that as well. So whatever, and if there is a need for any kind of an action because we do not have a contract, members will have to vote on what happens if that is the case as well. So members will vote on whatever our situation is at that time.
All right, here's a question from Michelle Conti. Will there need to be multiple submissions for the same proposals in order for them to be considered important?
No. Every proposal is important.
All right.
And if multiple proposals come in, we're going to still only submit the one proposal that deals with the issue.
All right. Michelle Bernardi asks, how common is class size language in contracts? Do most unions have it? And can we improve it in the contract? And is that something we would need testimony from teachers who have oversized classes? Do we need testimony from them about that? And I would also, I would answer part of that, and Jerry, I'll let you take the rest. That is the kind of proposal. The class size thing is the exact kind of proposal we want to see in member submissions.
Yes, certainly we want to see the class size proposals, but there are some locals that do not have class size provisions in them, and that, it's in some cases, class sizes are enormously large. I mean, ours are large, but when I tell you enormously large, much larger, and in some places that, where we have colleagues that they have to accept whatever the principal decides their class size is going to be. So, ours, we have clear language and there are penalties for oversized classes, but what we do have is that there are certain limits, and we have a grievance procedure that some places don't have either, to be able to fight when there is disparate treatment of educators by their school principal.
All right, and again, we have a couple of kind of specific proposal ideas. Will we raise the special education assistants' salaries? Can we propose days off? That's from Erica. Ahmad Safi asks, can we propose days off for Islamic holidays, similar to our days off?
I'm sorry, I missed the word that you said, propose days off for?
Islamic holidays, similar to the days that we give on the calendar off for Jewish holidays. Can that be a proposal, I think is what he's asking.
Certainly he can make the proposal, but there are two Islamic holidays that are in the calendar. I think last year they fell on the weekend, but there's one in the spring, I think, and there's another. And look at the PFT calendar because they are noted in the calendar.
All right.
But absolutely, please feel free to submit the proposal and the rationale so that I will be able to discuss it and ask for it with the administration.
All right. Question from Katie Carpenter. Will there be a committee formed to collect the needs of psychologists like we do for the OTs and PTs?
Yes. Arlene Kempen is working with the psychologist.
All right. And unfortunately, we are almost out of time. So we have one last question from Trina Dean, excuse me. And she says, as a consulting teacher, she sees the important work of supporting new teachers. Can we talk very quickly about the PAR program, how it was established and why it's in the contract, and how our proposals might influence a program like the PAR program?
Well, the PAR program was designed in order to help to support new teachers once they come into the system. And we wanted to be able to retain teachers by having teachers support teachers. And so, the program has been very, very effective in making sure that new teachers, in most cases, are temporary professional employees. When they come into the district, are evaluated once a year as opposed to twice a year, in order to give them time to really grow into the job and to be comfortable. So it's a good program that came about and we certainly want to maintain it.
All right. Just a couple, we've got a couple questions where people were asking about, the ways we plan on keeping members involved regarding the process at the table. We already addressed it, but if we could just kind of go over again, like what our thinking is in terms of how we keep members informed once we get to the table and we start going through these proposals.
Anything that is, we will certainly give updates as to what is happening, at the table in order to let members know that we are there working and fighting for a good contract. And, it's depends upon where we are with something as to, what information we'll be able to give. And you only know that at the time when you're at the table, and we will share with members as much information as we possibly can.
All right, thank you. And just as a housekeeping follow-up, how long do we expect that these meetings will be that we're having around the city?
The meetings are going to be as they'll start at 4, and we will end when the members have submitted all of the proposals and their rationale.
All right.
Everyone will have their opportunity to speak at those meetings.
Exactly. So we will make sure that that everybody who comes to these meetings gets a chance to speak. There is a question here, and I'll address this one, Jerry, is from Kelly Collins, who notes that the town hall, it sounds like we're wrapping it up, but the town hall is supposed to end at 8:15, and I will just explain very quickly. I did book an hour and 15 minutes worth of bandwidth, because if the meeting went, say, to 8:01, 8:02, like it is now, I didn't want us to get cut off mid-sentence, but the meeting was scheduled when I set it up was just for an hour. So, I want to apologize for any confusion or anybody who wants to get that last 15 minutes of Jerry time. But I will say that we've got 6 meetings coming up where you can get some face time and really dig into the proposals and the issues related to contract negotiations in the coming months. So we will have plenty of opportunities for us to get together and really chop it up. Again, this is being recorded, and we'll share the recording with the members along with reminders about our upcoming meetings and other activities within the next day or so. Jerry, did you have anything you wanted to close out with?
Yes, I want to say thank you to all of you for joining us on this webinar. If anyone logged in late or missed it, we will be making the recording available very shortly. Look forward to seeing you all at one of our special membership meetings in October. Good night.
And good night.